Hello and welcome everyone to this presentation on cloud computing by your CIO, Daniel Lovett. Here you can see a brief overview of the presentation. If you'd like to take a look at the agenda, feel free to pause the video before continuing. So why am I holding a presentation on cloud computing? It's quite simple. I attended a seminar recently and observed that this is indeed the future for business, and I'm here to provide you a brief overview and present a business case for how we can utilize it here at DRL Insurance. So if we pose the question, what is cloud computing? Well, the National Institute of Standards and Technology have their definition here, but it's a little complicated, so we'll have a look at breaking it down. So if we break down the definition into 5 essential characteristics, we can see that it's an on-demand service. That is, the customer doesn't require interaction with any humans to acquire services. It's purely automated and interactive. Broad network access merely refers to the plethora of media you can access cloud data on. It can be your phone, laptop, desktop, tablet, you name it. Resource pooling is combining hardware to virtually distribute resources amongst consumers. The rapid elasticity, that refers to the potential to expand or contract your service requirements as needed, and it's a measured service. So it records how much data you're using, depending what your plan is, and you have complete visibility of where your charges come from. When we're talking about how cloud services are utilized, we're looking at 3 main service models. Software as a service is where the user is purely paying for the end software, and their machine is the interface. All the backbone is created by the provider. Platform as a service is where you're hiring part of infrastructure that has software installed on it to enable you to develop applications in a cloud environment. Infrastructure as a service is where you're looking primarily at hardware, and you would use that for pure data storage or potentially private servers. Risks or issues associated with these. Software as a service, you want to make sure you're very diligent on protecting passwords. Platform as a service, the issues with that are typically around sending encrypted data to the server, slowing up network speeds. And infrastructure as a service, you just want to make sure that no one has unauthorized access. You don't have anyone commandeering your hardware. So when we're looking at deployment models, there is the public cloud, which utilizes public network infrastructure and is accessible from any public system. So it has lower levels of security, but is highly cost effective because you have far less to pay for in terms of hardware. Private cloud would be the other end of the scale, where you are securing infrastructure to be exclusively accessed by your organization. A community cloud could be sharing hardware with another organization that has similar requirements. So you'd want to make sure that you trust them not to be trying to hack your data there. And a hybrid cloud is a combination of 2 or more of these deployment models. So reading up on other companies' experiences with cloud, it's all very positive. Well, most of it's very positive. They're finding that they're more competitive in the marketplace because they have faster times to bring new products to market, give them greater market share. They're finding extreme cost benefits in reducing administration staff, and the provision of services to their consumers being automated is another huge cost saving. There was a crisis with Google where they uploaded a bug to their server and lost some data, but fortunately, due to stringent backup methods, it was recovered after a few hours. As with any business venture, we've got some advantages and disadvantages. I won't take you through all of them now. Cloud is extremely convenient. You can access your information from almost anywhere, and security is top notch. So some of the disadvantages we're looking at will be security breaches, which are primarily caused by human error. You can experience slow speeds in scenarios where you're encrypting a lot of data prior to upload. So in terms of infrastructure required, we aren't really going to require any additional hardware. Our existing servers should be able to handle anything we need. Infrastructure will be subscribing to services, and we'll need to purchase a plethora of software to enable us to connect to the cloud, manage the cloud, etc. Now, if we take a look at best practice, it all comes down to planning. We want to avoid upfront costs. Let's start off not locking ourselves into a giant contract. Let's look at subscription services that are rather flexible. So we need to be serious about autonomy as well. The organization has to understand that to benefit from this service, we need to allow the cloud to do its work. We can't have humans monitoring it all the time. Maximizing connectivity and ensuring data availability, that's purely ensuring we do enough research to choose a plan that suits our needs. So how are DRL Insurance going to use the cloud? Well, we're going to look at a hybrid model. We're going to have a user-facing SaaS public cloud for generating quotes and manipulation of standard user information. And we also want to look at renting infrastructure to set up a private cloud for sensitive data storage. Okay, now the exciting stuff, the financial data. Why do we want it? Well, I say that we're going to turn a profit of 780 grand per branch from this investment. So, if you draw your attention to your handouts at the moment, I'll just pull mine up. So what we're looking at initially is an investment of 2.36 million per branch. And we expect that, if you'll just take a look at the first table you've got up the top on the front page of your handout there, we expect that will take between 3 and 4 years to pay back. How do I calculate this? I purely went off our estimated figures. They're realistic estimates of what our cash flow will be for those for the following years, and it fell between years 3 and 4 where we'll break even. So I know the financial guys they want to know about net present value. Okay, so what's our investment today worth in 6 years? Why do I want to spend 2.6 million today? Well, calculating that if you just go down to the next table, if we're calculating that with a cash discount rate of 10%, we're saying that in 6 years, our $2.6 million investment will turn into $780,000 additional cash flow in 2020. It will be a nice addition to our revenue. And again, that is per branch. That's not globally. So we're looking we got 10 branches globally. We'd be looking at $7.79 million. It's not bad. So our internal rate of return. So how much does money have to cost us before this is a bad idea to go through with? Well, I did a bit of ad hoc trial and error calculations here. Unfortunately, that's what Investopedia told me to do. I'll check with our accounting guys, what the faster method is later, but the internal rate of return comes out at 18.63%. So that's we almost have to double our cost of money before this is a non-profitable idea. So our profitability index, as you can see, the ratio to payoff for investment is 1.33. So if you turn to, I believe it's page 3 of your handout, you'll find there's some information on sensitivity studies there. This is just, what if our crucial elements, our estimates for them are completely out? So if you look at scenario 1, we say, what if the training of staff it takes twice as long? Well, if we need to double our estimates for that, we've still got a return on investment of 8.78%. Not ideal, but I suppose the way we can safeguard against that is to ensure in the planning phase we do our research so we completely understand how much training is required. Okay, so sensitivity study, the second one. What if the cost of money explodes? 18.63%. In this instance, we don't want to make the investment here. However, the probability of this is very low, and we can purely avoid this by having our financial analysts take a look at the likelihood of that in the next 6 years. And the third scenario, what if we were off by 25% in the cost of our subscriptions to cloud services because for some reason they become extremely high demand and pricing just blows out? Well, not to worry, we would still have a return on investment of 16.4%. Not as ideal as our projected figures, but we're still not in the dark there. So what can we say about the cloud from this presentation? Well, it's a dynamic, evolving technology that will create opportunity and improve efficiency for business. And here at DRL Insurance, we should adopt a hybrid model to capture both public and private structures. And the risks that we've observed are fairly low and manageable. So some of the more interesting lessons I learned through this research were, apart from the multitude of models available in cloud and just how expandable the infrastructure is, were the matters that Google encountered when they uploaded a bug to their servers, and the fact that they used tape, which is quite an old means of data backup, to keep copies of all their information. And the huge savings that organizations can achieve through the automated nature of cloud systems. That concludes our presentation today. Here's a list of references that I've used, so feel free to go and explore those on your own. And if you have any questions, by all means, contact me.